Which country has the most oil in the world? Maybe you are thinking Saudi Arabia. Maybe you are thinking Russia. Hey, I know the United States has a lot of oil, but the correct answer is Venezuela. In today's English lesson, we are going to watch a news story about how President Trump is sending some military ships to the coast of Venezuela. The people who like Trump will say he is doing this to stop drugs from coming into the United States. We are going to watch a news clip from CNN. They do not like Trump. They are going to say maybe these ships are there to steal oil from Venezuela. Of course, the Venezuelan president, Nicolás Maduro, does not want those ships there. He says he is ready to go to war with the United States if necessary. Venezuela will defend its land and its oil. This English lesson is going to be great if you are studying for the IELTS or TOEFL exam. We are going to talk about a lot of advanced terms today. Or maybe you just want to have better conversations in English. This lesson is perfect. Please go ahead, hit that like button, and let's watch the news clip together.
Venezuela's president has a warning for the United States. If you mess with our country, you're messing with all of South America. President Nicolás Maduro made those comments in a rare news conference on Monday amid the buildup of U.S. naval forces in the Caribbean. Officials in Washington say ships are moving into the region to combat drug trafficking, allegedly linked to Venezuela.
You are going to learn about 25 new terms. In the news clip, they used the term mess with. Now, you might know like a messy room. This is much different. To mess with means to bother or cause problems for someone. Don't mess with my little brother or you'll regret it. Let's take a look at this picture. It looks like this mom is trying to get some work done and one of her children is messing with her. Looks like he is hitting her over the head with a pillow. Let's talk a little bit about the president of Venezuela. His name is Nicolás Maduro. Nicolás Maduro gave a speech on television. I do have some students from Venezuela. Shout out to Ismail if you are watching. I have heard that the people of Venezuela don't exactly like this president. There were elections in 2018 and 2024. Nicolás Maduro says he won both of those elections, but a lot of people think he stole those elections. Venezuela has become one of the poorest countries in the world under Nicolás Maduro. Rare. Maybe tough to say with that R, rare, but it means not common. Unusual. It is rare to see snow in the Caribbean or Caribbean. We are going to talk about that word in just a minute. But take a look at that picture. It does look like there is a sliver of gold in that rock. Finding gold is rare these days. Next, we have buildup, and it is a noun. It is an increase in something over time. There was a buildup of soldiers near the border. Because there was a buildup of traffic, the city had to add an extra lane to the highway. And if you look at that picture there, it looks like there was a buildup of ice in the freezer. That woman seems to be removing it. We have two pronunciations for this word, Caribbean or Caribbean. And there you can see a map. Countries like Cuba would be considered Caribbean countries. Caribbean means the islands and sea between North and South America. Many tourists like to visit the Caribbean for vacation. Be careful with this word, combat or combat. If it's used as a noun, it's pronounced the first way, and then we'll talk about how it's pronounced as a verb. Combat. Combat, the noun. It means fighting, usually in war. The soldiers were trained for combat. combat. But this is combat. This is the way they used it in the newscast. Combat means to fight against something. We must combat pollution to keep the air clean. Please let me interrupt this English lesson for just a second. If you are looking for a speaking partner, I can be your speaking partner. If you check out the description below, there is a link that will take you to learn more information. It does cost some money, but I have been teaching for 20 years. I will not steer you wrong. Yes, it does cost money, but right now I am offering a coupon for 10% off. Use the code SUMMER10 at checkout to get your 10% off. If you want to improve your English speaking, check out the link below. Now, back to the English lesson.
Venezuela's president has a warning for the United States. If you mess with our country, you're messing with all of South America. President Nicolás Maduro made those comments in a rare news conference on Monday amid the buildup of U.S. naval forces in the Caribbean. Officials in Washington say ships are moving into the region to combat drug trafficking, allegedly linked to Venezuela. But President Maduro has not taken kindly to the show of force, calling it the biggest threat seen in South America in a century.
8 military ships with 1,200 missiles and a nuclear submarine are targeting Venezuela. This is an extravagant, unjustifiable, immoral, and absolutely criminal, bloody threat.
Extravagant. Extravagant means spending too much money or using too much. The party was extravagant with gold decorations everywhere. This guy in the picture, he is looking rather extravagant. It looks like there is a lot of gold on him. Who knows? Maybe it's fake. But if it's real, that is going to be a very expensive outfit. Unjustifiable. Unjustifiable. It means something that cannot be defended or excused. The attack was unjustifiable and many people were angry. If you can justify something, you can say, yeah, I need that to happen. I think that should be done. I could justify the spending because I was close to a nervous breakdown. The trip to Mexico made me feel so much better. If you remember in the last English lesson, we talked about nervous breakdowns. What if something is immoral? Immoral. It means not right or good, against moral rules. If you have morals, it means you try to always do the right thing. Be nice to people. Don't steal. It is immoral to steal from your friends. If someone has morals, they are a good person. In the newscast, they said bloody. I think this is British. In the United States, if something is bloody, it means it has blood on it, but it's different in British English. Bloody is used to show anger or surprise. That was a bloody good game. It makes me almost want to try a British accent. Okay, here it goes. That was a bloody good game. Horrible accent. Sorry.
They have wanted to escalate what they call maximum pressure, which in this case is military. And in response to maximum military pressure, we have declared maximum preparedness for the defense of Venezuela.
Michael Shifter is a senior fellow at the Policy Forum Inter-American Dialogue, and he joins me now from Washington. Appreciate you being with us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
So why are U.S. warships heading toward Venezuela? What's the likely plan, and how long would you expect this fully loaded U.S. flotilla to remain off the coast of that country?
Well, I think it's a matter of speculation about exactly why they're there. The stated reason is to combat drug trafficking. And the president of Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro, has been labeled a narco-terrorist by the Trump administration.
Preparedness is next. It basically means to be prepared for something. Let's get the official definition. Being ready for something. The school practiced drills to improve their preparedness for emergencies. And here we have a family. It looks like they are getting prepared for winter. The family's preparedness for winter included buying food and chopping wood for the fire. Yeah, we have the mom with an axe in her hand. She is chopping wood. The son is stacking that wood, and it looks like the father is bringing groceries into the house from the car. Actually, I think he's walking the wrong way, but that is AI for you. Sometimes they make mistakes. In the newscast, they interview a senior fellow. Senior fellow here means an expert or researcher with a high position in an organization. The senior fellow wrote an article about world politics. Next, we have flotilla. Flotilla, this word is an English word, but it comes from the Spanish language. Flotilla, it means a small group of ships. A flotilla of boats sailed into the harbor. President Trump sent a flotilla to land off the coast of Venezuela. President Trump is worried about drug trafficking. Drug trafficking. Notice there is a K in trafficking. Drug trafficking is the business of making and selling illegal drugs. The police arrested a man for drug trafficking. A narco. A narco. This is short for narcotics or people who work in drug crime. The movie showed the life of a powerful narco. Some people think that maybe Nicolás Maduro is a narco. Maybe he is making some money off this drug trafficking. Whoever is making money off the oil and drug trafficking, it's not making it to the people, unfortunately. So many people in Venezuela right now are very desperate. Unfortunately, it has become the poorest country in all of South America.
And the president of Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro, has been labeled a narco-terrorist by the Trump administration. And so this is the stated rationale for the presence of this flotilla. But it really is extremely heavy, unusually heavy, unprecedented. So there's a lot of speculation that there may be other objectives in mind, including a strike, a military strike in Venezuela, or possibly even a taking out Maduro himself.
Unprecedented. I bet you will see this on the IELTS or TOEFL exam. It's a great word in English. Unprecedented. It means something that has never happened before. The storm was unprecedented in its strength. In other words, there was never a storm this strong, this powerful. Objectives. What are your objectives for learning English? Maybe you want to have better conversations. Maybe you want to travel. Maybe you want a better job. Objectives are goals or things you want to achieve. The teacher explained the objectives for the project. In other words, the things you will learn after completing that project. Taking out. It is an English phrasal verb. I could take out my trash. In fact, I do that each week, but this is used a little differently in the newscast. It means removing or destroying something. The army was focused on taking out the military base. I don't think one of the objectives for this flotilla is to take out Nicolás Maduro, but who knows?
So I think there's a lot of speculation about what's actually involved, and the flotilla will probably be there for a while, probably another couple of weeks.
And Venezuela's dictator Nicolás Maduro is claiming the U.S. plans to invade Venezuela. How likely is that, though? Even a limited strike, perhaps, on the country?
Yeah, I think an invasion is really out of the question. There are 4,000 Marines that are on this flotilla. An invasion would require 100,000 troops. Venezuela is a huge country. It's a complex country. It's a big country. And so this is not really realistic. Whether there's a surgical strike on some laboratory or some other target, that's conceivable, but it's not without risk. You don't know what that could set off. And I think the United States has to be extremely careful. I think there's a lot of peril in this, and there could be mistakes, and that could be extremely costly.
Invade. Invade. It's a verb and it means to enter a place by force, usually with an army. But if you look in the picture right there, there is only an army of ants, but those ants have invaded that house. Let's get a sentence for invade. The soldiers plan to invade the city at night. What if something is out of the question? It means impossible, cannot happen. Skipping the final exam is out of the question. If you don't take that final exam, you would definitely fail the class. Surgical. Surgical. Again, we have two ways this word is used. It could be related to surgery, but that's not the way it's used in the newscast. It's used more like this: very precise, exact. And if you look at that picture, there is a dartboard and there is a dart right in the middle. It was very precise. The doctors performed a surgical operation. And already there was a small boat that some people thought was carrying drugs. This flotilla from the United States bombed that boat, but it was very surgical. It was very precise. 11 people were killed on that boat. Maybe they were drug dealers, but nobody else, no other boats or people were harmed. The attack was very surgical. Conceivable. Conceivable, it means possible to imagine. It is conceivable that we will travel to Mars one day. I think it's conceivable that one day you will be a great English speaker if you keep working hard. Set off. Another English phrasal verb with many meanings, but in the newscast, they used it like this: to start something, like an alarm or an event. The fireworks set off a loud noise. And in the picture, it looks like somebody is going to set off that fire alarm. Peril. Peril is how you pronounce the next word, and it means great danger. The hikers were in peril during the storm. Congratulations, you just learned 25 new words. If you're looking for more English lessons, right down there is an English lesson about how some of the biggest leaders in the world are meeting and maybe they want to hurt the United States. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.